Hey, I'm Chris Zepp from Make Everything, and today I'm going to talk about getting free tools and equipment. Check it out. All right, so I was looking around, kind of looking at some of the stuff I have here, and people ask me all the time, oh, where'd you get this, where'd you get that? And when I give them the answer of, oh, someone gave this to me, their brain explodes. It's hard for a lot of people to conceptualize someone giving you a milling machine or a welding table or a pipe bender. But, I've broken it down and I've really thought about it, and I can give you 5 easy steps, things to do, things to implement in your life and in the way that you speak to other people that can help you in the way that they've helped me get free stuff, or if not free, really cheap stuff for your shop and to help you push your career or your passion to make things. So let's get right into it. Okay, so step 1 is going to be establishing yourself within your community. Now, people think about getting stuff nowadays and people think online, all right? Yeah, I got to go on Craigslist, I got to look for tools, I got to go on Facebook. That's all great, but I feel like the good stuff that's out there, it's not on Craigslist. If people are posting things on Craigslist, they typically want to sell them. But if you're not in a position to spend money, you don't have to. Establish yourself on a smaller scale within your community. In my case, the way that I did it was I made sure people knew that I was a maker, that I wanted tools, and that I would do whatever I had to do to help them either get rid of the stuff or find somebody that wanted it. Go to places that have physical message boards, like a library or a post office, or in my case, I went to my local hardware store and I just wrote up a little sign that said, I buy old tools. I put a list of the stuff that I wanted, I put my name and my phone number, and I said, call me. I got tons of phone calls. Half the stuff, maybe I didn't want, but some of the stuff I did, and I wound up creating these great relationships with people in my local area that I never would have met otherwise, because I showed a passion within my community, and I want to make myself the guy that people call when they have something to get rid of. And it's not about just doing that, put up a flyer that you want to get stuff. But you always also have to be established with people that talk to people, make sure that everyone knows that you're the person to call when something becomes available. Or unfortunately, the timeline that we're in right now, and I feel like this era, this generation, these 10 years, I'm seeing a lot of old time makers passing away, and unfortunately a lot of their families, they don't know what to do with their stuff. And I'm not talking about going and grave robbing someone's shop for everything that was of value and trying to take it for nothing. I'm talking about connecting with someone whose maybe husband or wife was a maker and a craftsman that cared about it. And I will almost guarantee that if you are passionate about it and you can pass that passion and your establishment on to a person, they will be more than happy to help you in your pursuit of this craft by either giving you or loaning you or selling you at a reasonable price the things that are left behind. So step 1 is become established within your community. Okay, step 2 is never assume that anything is free. It's the easiest way I found to put a bad taste in someone's mouth is to walk in and say, oh, you're giving this stuff away. Like I said, a lot of times people are willing to give things away, but I have found that if you show at least that you're willing to pay for something that has a value, half the time people will give it to you. Or offer a barter, offer some service that you have. Aside from being established, once you've made those connections and someone calls you and says, hey, I have a basement full of old tools, do you want to take a look? It's very easy to walk in and go, well, these people are never going to use this stuff and they don't know what it's worth, so I'll just take it all from them and I'll just tell them I'll take it for free. You have to show integrity and you have to show that you are genuine and passionate. So what I always like to do is, go and you check out what's offered. If someone calls you and says, hey, listen, I want to give you this thing, obviously at that point, it's yours. But always offer something in return, even if you don't have any money. If you don't have money, that means you probably have some time. So, if someone says, hey, I have an old drill press in my basement, do you want it? And you go, yeah, sure. You move out the drill press and then you go back and say, hey, I really appreciate you giving this to me. Is there any way that I could return the favor to you? I might not have any money, but maybe I can come and rake your yard or, if it's an elderly person, ask them if they need a hand moving anything within the house or whatever. A lot of times I take tools on a barter. People call me because I have space and they go, I have this garage full of tools and now I have a family and yada, 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 and I don't have room for my table saw or my drill press, and I need to get rid of them, but I really wish I didn't have to. In that case, my offer to them is always, listen, it's here. If you want to use it, just call me. You can always come and use it because you're giving me the access to this machine on my time. I want to be able to return that favor and give the person back access to the machine on their time. Obviously this doesn't always work out exactly, but as long as you don't walk into a scenario that isn't black and white saying, I'm going to take this stuff for free, you're always going to wind up okay. Just try and be helpful, offer what you can, and people really, really respect that. So that's step number 2. Never assume that anything is free. Okay, step number 3. And this one is kind of hard to wrap your head around, but it is so, so very important. And that is never say no. Now, what I'm talking about is when people call you and say, hey, I've got something, maybe you want to take a look. Ask them to describe it, even if it's not something that you want, at least go and take a look and make that connection. The first time you say no is usually the last time someone calls you, and remember that. And I have found this happen time and time again, where people will call me and say, hey, I got an old radial arm saw, would you want it? No, I don't want an old radial arm saw. But that doesn't mean that there isn't other things that I may want, or that radial arm saw isn't something that I would want to pass on to someone else. So that is the critical part about never saying no. I really try hard to establish a community of people that make things around me. I think it's so important, and I want to do that. No one else is going to do it here. I waited my whole life for someone else to take the reins, and no one did, so it's my job. So when people call me, I never say no. I always at least try and make the time to look at it, or at the very least, I say, hey, I'm not actually interested in that, but I might know someone that is. I have gotten tools for countless numbers of friends, and some of them I don't even have to go and look at. I get a call, hey, I've got some old tools. I call a buddy and say, hey, would you want these? Here's the guy's number, and you connect the dots. People remember that. You want to always be the first person that everyone calls, get your foot in the door, and become established. Now, there are obviously exceptions to this. Once you are established, people will call you, and you will be able to say no to some of them. I have some people that call me almost every week because they do estate cleanouts, and they know that I'm still going to pick up the phone next week, even if I don't want the stuff that they're giving away at that moment. But the critical thing here is establish that you are not going to say no and that you are the person to call when something is up for grabs. So step 3, never say no. Okay, so step 4 is pass these opportunities on. And I sort of touched on that in step 3 with never saying no, but step number 4 is really critical, especially if this community of makers is important to you. So you always, always have to be looking for who can use what you might not want to use. So a lot of times I get opportunities to get tools and get things that, like I said, I might not necessarily need, but you have to have it in your mind that you're passionate about this stuff, and all of us makers are passionate about this stuff, but it's not a singular thing. You aren't going to be like the best maker, and in order to be the best maker, it's not about restricting the flow of equipment and knowledge to other people. Otherwise, why would you do it? So I want to pass that on, and I think everyone should pass that stuff on. And I will give you an example. So a couple of years ago, a client of mine reached out to me and said, hey, I've got an old miter saw and an old table saw, and they're taking up room in my basement. I want to get rid of them. They were a junky kind of homeowner-based thing that I didn't want, but the guy had given me a lot of other stuff. So as soon as he said, hey, they're taking up room in my basement, boom. I went, I picked them up, I put them in my truck, and I thought, oh, what am I going to do with these? So I held on to them for about 6 months until a friend called me and said, hey, I just bought a house and I need a table saw. What should I buy? I don't have a lot of money. Okay. So my first thought was I should pass this stuff on. I run into the shop, I go into storage, I dig out the old table saw and the old miter saw, and I tell him, hey, come by the shop, I've got some tools for you. I pass that on to him. He took the stuff, he used it for about a year until he had enough money to buy the proper equipment, and then called me and said, hey, I'm gonna bring you back the table saw and the miter saw you used. Thank you so much. And I told him, I don't want them back. Give them to someone else. So he gave them to a neighbor's kid, and now that kid is using the table saw and the miter saw, and he's gonna learn how to make stuff, and he's gonna have that instilled in him that, wow, someone gave me this and they gave me the ability to do this. So step 4, it's very important, pass this stuff on. Okay, the last step, step 5, is be genuine. And that is so important in everything that you do in your life, and especially in this endeavor to make stuff and get your hands on equipment, is be genuine. People can read through bullshit really quickly. No matter what you think, no matter how good you think your fake face is, people pick up on that. So you want to actually be passionate and genuine in your intentions when you approach people. You know, going back on all the things that I said, all the 4 previous steps, they're all about being genuine in your intention. If you are the kind of person that's going to go and try and get free tools so you can run and put them on Craigslist and make extra money, people are going to find out, and then that's it. You're going to get blackballed from that community. You're going to get blackballed from giving things away. And, you know, it's just, that's not what this should be about. Being genuine in the things that you accept from people, in your offers to help, and in your ability to pass things on and, you know, continue to enable the maker community is so, so important. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this little information video. I hope this was something that people want to see. I hope it was helpful. If you liked it, please leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this kind of stuff. I would love to do more videos about this and more videos sort of helping the community get themselves established in a way that I've been able to get myself established. It's taken me a really long time to get to where I'm at now, and I really think that if I knew half the stuff I knew today, it would have been a lot easier. So thank you so much again. I want to do a video soon about some of the big equipment that I've gotten for free, so if you want to see that, let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate the support. At this point, we just passed 20,000 subscribers, which is such a huge milestone for me. If you want any of the Make Everything stuff, if you want to check us out on Instagram, all the information is down below. Thank you again. Go on and establish yourself, get yourself some free stuff, make stuff every day, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video.